Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I do apologise, it has been a minute. It's been that long that I'm having to change some settings in my OBS. Please stand by. Should have done this before the stream, but hey ho. So, as a few of you know, my name is Dark40, and I do like to sim a lot. So, the aim of today is, yesterday I decided to get back into Forza Horizon, and had to mess about with some of the settings quite heavily. Just because I've got better at drifting on other games than I have this one. I'm just wondering if I can be heard. Yep, sorry about that. I was just checking my own stream. It's very unprofessional of me. As you can tell, I'm an expert streamer. But anyway, I'm going to get back into it with Chelsea Denofa's famous RTR Mustang. You'll probably know it better for Adam LZ's Mustang, which is orange and yellow. So what I'm going to do today is just talk through my new updated tune and the way that I've got the car set up. So let's get into it. So as you can see, I'm using the RTR FH5 from 2018. I could use the Formula Drift ones, but I feel I get more control out of the car if I use just the normal FH5. I mean, I do have the Formula Drift, and I have been playing about with them, but I have noticed that they do get a bit wild when drifting. What I mean by that is you're steering into a drift and all of a sudden the back end just snaps out and it shouldn't do. Even when you're slowing down, it just wants to snap out from the back end. Just like you've just ran over some dinner plates and something and the car just wants to yeet into a tree somewhere. So, that being said, let's talk over what I've done with this Mustang. Obviously, it's got its stock engine in. There's no point. Well, no, it's not. It's got the RTR Formula Drift engine in it, if I remember rightly. Stock one's just basic, the 5.0 V8. So this has now got the RTR from Denofa's. I'll try and say that again. That's got the engine from Denofa's RTR. God, this stream's going well already. I do apologise. 1 second. Sorry about that, real life issues. Not to the best of start. Kept it rear wheel drive. I don't do all wheel drifting. I've tried it, don't like it. I do like supercharged engines more than I do like turbos. But for acceleration purposes, this seems to get off the line quicker with turbos than it does with the ProCharger, which is what they normally would use. I've seen under the hood of this, they don't use the supercharger, they use the ProCharger. Spoiler, And front bumper, I've just used stock. It just looks better. Tyres, they are on a drift compound. I'm on 285s on the front. I tried to get closer to 275s, but that's the minimum it will let me go. And they should be on 315s. Oh, yeah, never mind. Great till I'm well prepared. And the engine is just basically maxing out the turf skis. So quickly going over the tune. Pressures that I found to be almost realistic is 22.5 up front, 26 psi up the rear. These have been translated from 2 other simulators, so they're more of a happy go-between. But they're also looked up via research on the actual FD cars. Contrary to what you see here, this is a 4-speed. I don't use 5th and 6th. In Formula Drift, they only use 4-speed in this particular car. It's a 4-speed dog box, which is not a sequential shift, it's actually a stick shift. The final drive we kind of had to guess because they're very secretive over their gearboxes, but the dog box in question comes with several ratios. We picked a ratio that seems to make the car act like the real thing, so that's what we selected over many hours of testing. Front camber, maxed it. We don't need much on rear camber due to the fact that when the car squats, it should straighten up. Theoretically, we want positive, so I'm going to change that over for this stream. Because you want a little bit of positive, so when the car squats, it goes to 0, which the car will squat quite a bit. Now, front end toe out all the way just for better control. Rear, most videos say don't exceed 1 degrees. But I've heard Denolfa several times say negative 1.3, don't exceed 1.5. So we're just going to stay roughly about 1.3. Max caster, well obviously we're going to max that out. There's a reasoning for why I've done this. In all the other games that I've tried, like CarX, Assetto Corsa, the other drift game which I briefly played, I can't remember the name of, maxing out the front stiffness, having a little bit at the back, makes it do the freewheel drift. Which I probably won't be able to get to do with this game because it's more arcadish than it is simulative. Same with the springs. Stiff up front, soft at rear. I want it to squat. I want one of the front wheels to lift up. That's the main reason for that. I should really lift it for it to do that. But I've noticed when I lift the car to do that, it just doesn't. It just spins out of control every time. Dampening. This is set up for the freewheel drifting again. So 6.5 up front, 14 up rear. The bump stiffness is 5.5 up front, 2.5 at the back. That just allows the back end just to stay really loose and soft, which is what I like. Aero, not applicable for this build, but I normally just set that to speed. Drift cars don't really need aero, even though they got the death wings. You have been disconnected due to an activity. Obviously, it doesn't know I'm still messing about within the menu. Brake, most of my brake force is at the front. The reasoning for that is if I do get into tandems, if I press the brakes, I don't want the momentum from the rear wheels disappearing. So you want to slow down using front brakes only. And that would apply if you're going into a corner too quick instead of yeeting off the side of the cliff. Differentials. Most drift games will say lock it out. Just completely lock it out. Act like it's been welded. Yeah. FD cars use LSDs, limited slip diffs. This could vary from, I think minimum is 60%, all the way up to like 90%. They never completely lock out the rear diffs. And that's basically the tune. Feel free to rewind the video once it has saved and published as a video and not live. I made a change, didn't I? So what I normally do when I start drifting is I stay around here for the first few minutes, do a few rounds here and then take it around to the other drift spot over there, just get a feel for the tune, see if it feels right. This car could actually sit a bit high, that is a little bit low. But anyway, we'll do that later. This car is meant to drift angle wise, getting into like little technical bits, second gear, high speed corners, third gear. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Now I do have a Thrustmaster T300 RS, a Sparco e-brake, which wasn't cheap, some pro pedals, and a H shifter from Thrustmaster. And just because there's not many videos out there for this particular wheel for force feedback, I run force feedback scale at -0.9. The reason I do that is because the wheel tends to oscillate left and right quite a bit at speed. Bear in mind, this is purely for drifting, it's not for racing. I don't usually race in these games, I just like drifting. Center spring. In drifting, I would personally say leave that at 1. In racing, I'd yeet that over there, over at 0. You don't really need the wheel to be centering much while racing. You want full control of your car. The force feedback and the way that the road scale feels should bring your steering wheel back to center anyway. Dampening and mechanical trail I'll leave maxed. I just like the heavier feel on the wheel. This, I'm still not 100% sure how this works, but I've seen a lot of people leave it between 0. I think it was 0.6, 0.9, so I leave it in the 0.8. It feels good on the wheel. I can't explain what it does, it just feels right on the wheel. Force feedback, low sensitivity. That's primarily the sensitivity of your force feedback, how much it kicks in, or how sensitive it is to kick in, if that makes any sense. Feel the road. A lot of videos I've seen this from 6 to 9, so I usually leave it about 7. Don't like the feel of off-road scale, it usually throws the wheel and I usually let go of it. And I don't touch the steering sensitivity. So that's all the boring jargon gone. I've tried to speak as quick as I can. Let's see about drifting. I'm not the best drifters in the world, I'm not going to claim to be. I drift to have fun, if I mess up, I mess up. This is usually where I go to practice. If I get between 30 and 50,000, which is what I've done here, I class that as a good drift. My highest one there is near enough 55,000. I think that was done in this car. Let's have a look. No, it was done in a Nissan 240. Well, I just got shown up. As you can see, I'm not really on the foot brake, I'm not really on the handbrake, it's more clutch kicking and throttle control. Sometimes I forget about my throttle and usually leave it glued to the ground, which makes the car spin wildly out of control. But the good thing is with this gearbox is I'm doing what, 50 mile an hour, and the second I put my foot down, wheels light up. So what I'm going to do is take it over to the mountain and completely humiliate myself. I wonder how many of these checks if something disconnected then. That was my horn. So even though I'm on the wheel, I can feel the wheel wanting to oscillate left and right, which has been a problem since day launch on this game. That's why I've not got the force feedback any higher than 0.9. I've seen a lot of people run it at 1.2, 1.3 for the really heavy feel. But the problem is with that, you end up working up a sweat. You're here to enjoy the game, not have a workout. It's not like you're trying out for Formula 1, is it? And on the downside of that as well, it kicks the fans in way too many times on the steering wheel. So what I've tried to do is get the feeling sort of like my real car. Just to elaborate, I don't have a Mustang as a real car. As much as I'd love one, I have a hatchback. That was just a clutch kick, just to show off, which has not gone really well because I can't talk and drive at the same time. I have been off this game for a fair few months, so you'll have to bear with me. The last time I was on this was the last stream on it. Got a bit of a dead zone on the steering. Alright, I'm gonna go quiet while I go up here, see how it goes. Terrible start. Just to put it out there, I'm also trying to drift on 900 degree. I'm used to doing it on 360. This stream's not going really well for me, is it? It's really bad. I barely even spun round. Oh, Forza, you need to fix your crap. I did a 180 short distance ago, and you give me enough time to turn around. I've just done a 180 then, you never let me turn around. Oh, Jesus, fix it. I'm going to make a slight alteration to my tune and try that again. So far, this has not been my best stream. That seems fine. Let's bring that down to 275. I think my acceleration's a bit high on this car. See if that works. Oh, that just straightens up. Yep, I broke it. Let's try 320. I'm still in the phases of tweaking some aspects of this car. Ah, Jesus, fix it. So if you've only just joined the stream, I didn't just mess up. I'm about to run up the mountain for the first time today. Let's give it a go. Seems a bit better. I say seems a bit better, and then I go and do something like that. User error. I think my eyes just blue screened. Oh look, you let me recover that time. By the way, that was totally intentional. I wanted that billboard. Great, now it's going to fail. What a surprise. So, this is what annoys me about the game. On some instances, it will let you recover, even if you do a 180 or a 360 or go slightly off the track. On some instances, when the finishing line's frickin' there, it likes to fail you, even if you only just bumped a lamppost, put it in reverse. Hey. So that being said, I'm going to take that as a 822. 100,000. Just because the game's physics can go and suck on an egg. But that's my highest score, and that was in this particular Mustang. I have done it before in an S15, I want to say. I can't remember. But then I smashed it with this particular car. I mean, I'm in the top 300,000s. So with that being said, that was just a little welcome back stream. Just to see if anything's changed in the game. And physics wise, no. Still feels the same. Steering still feels shockingly bad. It still wants to oscillate left and right. I mean, no simulative game can be perfect, but you would expect something from the likes of a leading brand like Forza Horizon. If an old game like Assetto Corsa can get it right even with mods, you would expect Forza to follow suit, but it is what it is. Well, hopefully I'll throw out a few more streams soon, either on this game, CarX, Space Engineers, or even Flight Simulator. I might do one of them 3 hour long flights where I'll start talking and then go away for 3 hours and come back towards the end. We'll see what the future holds. But for now, all the best. Thank you for watching. And I shall see you in the next stream. Ta-ta. Who the hell says ta-ta?